I haven't heard.
That would be no.
I've been told she is really trying to stay off emails and things, and so I have not heard anything. I don't believe anyone behind me has anything, so I haven't heard.
That would be no.
No updates.
There we go. So this is going to be a pretty quick update. There's not a huge amount of detail that I think you all would care about. There's a ton of legwork that Jason and the rest of the team have been putting in, but for the most part, at a high level, we're moving forward. So just Tim, if you'd hit the next, just quick overview as most of you know, but some of you are new, and for the the audience that I'm sure is listening at home, we started this project, and initially we were trying to hit about half the county. The areas that are not either purple or green were excluded from coverage due to other grants and that kind of thing. Some of those grants have progressed. Some of those grants have kind of fallen apart. Go ahead to the next one. We applied to the state for funds to build a backbone, which is phase 1 of this project, and that's the purple line with the green dots. That was funded in 2024. It took all the way until October. We were told it was awarded in April, and it took until the end of October, early November before we actually got the grant finished. So just the paperwork part of that took a fair bit of time, but it is underway, and we have the permits and the detailed engineering. The field staking is all done. We have had some delays in getting easement acquisitions. I think that's not a huge surprise to anybody here. That was always viewed as one of the biggest challenges with this project. Just to give a little bit of background, in rural Illinois, at least in Champaign County, most farmers and most property owners own up to the center line of the road. The road is in an easement on their property, and in order to put something else on their property, you need to negotiate an easement with each of the property owners. I have some details on what was involved in that, or what is involved in that, on the next slide. But in summary, that's a pretty big negotiation and coordination challenge. It's also kind of cool because you get to talk with literally every homeowner and farmer in the rural area that you're potentially serving. It means you don't want to, you have to be respectful of them, and that's I think what all of us wanted. It's a county board project, it's a farm bureau project, it's a VOLA project, and we're all local organizations that are trying to be helpful instead of causing distress to people. That said, it is a long process of talking with all those people. And so we initially had a plan to move forward with a kind of an approach that was a bit faster, but the Farm Bureau was concerned that it was not respectful enough of the farm owner, or property owner property rights. So we put the brakes on, and we worked with them to get a process that they could really stand behind. And I mean, it's taking a little bit longer, but it is getting there, and it's I think building us pretty good relationships with a lot of people. The number of people that Jason has personally met with to discuss this project is astounding. I mean, every day he's out there, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 hours a day, every day, meeting with people, discussing the intimate details of the stuff that was put in underground on their farm 100 years ago. And I mean, it's a really neat conversation to have. It's not awesome that we have to have it with 550 people, but it is still a pretty cool conversation to have. In addition, there have been some supply chain delays. The duct, which we were worried about being either super expensive or really slow to procure, turned out to be quite quick to procure. We have all the duct for the project, but the fiber, while it was initially supposed to be delivered in August, and now has been delayed till November. We're hopeful that it won't get delayed further. They've given us, actual shipping dates and stuff, so we think it's pretty likely that it'll be delivered on time. But there's and also they sent us a nice letter saying that they were increasing the price after the fact by 24% due to tariffs, even though it's American made. But we don't really have any leverage to argue against it, because that would just put us back at the back of the line for another vendor, and we would be probably into next year before we get materials. So we have a contingency budget that's adequate. So we're moving forward with that procurement. The current schedule for construction is August through November of this year. We expect to be done with the underground work by November, well before weather starts to turn really foul. Really, in this area, in my experience, we are able to do construction into early January, and then it starts to get really unpleasant in late January and into February, and then it kind of eases up, and by March we're back at things. We're not expecting to use that time. We expect to be done with underground work by the end of November, but we have a little bit of wiggle room in case that doesn't happen. Then when the fiber arrives, we will immediately begin putting it into the ducting that has been installed during that time period. And we expect that to be done over the course of the coldest part of the winter through February. Luckily, the fiber is pretty resilient against cold temperatures, and actually it makes it easier to work with in some ways because it's a lot slipperier when it's cold. The splicing also is something that happens inside a trailer anyway, so it doesn't really matter what the weather's like. So we expect that to happen over the course of November through February, and then we'll pick up customer installations once the weather kind of breaks for the winter after sometime in February, and be hooking people up through May, we expect. That's the general timeline we're looking at now. Go ahead and do the next one, Tim. So just a summary of the things that have kind of gotten in the way. The easements, we needed a total of 550. It's actually more, almost 700 pins that were impacting properties that were impacting, owned by 550 different people. And of those, we've got 276 signed so far, and we have probably another 100 that are in the works. And then at some point, we're going to have challenges that we're going to have to either negotiate harder or bring bring lawyers in and figure something out for the last few. We always anticipated that. We expect to begin construction long before we are done dealing with the last few easements, but we're doing our best to minimize that number by being, good neighbors, good citizens, and basically putting our money where our mouth is and showing up when they have questions, trying to answer their questions and work with them when they have concerns. And for the most part, people respond to that. There will be some people who we can't even reach, I'm sure, and we'll deal with that as those come probably over the course of August is when I expect most of those last stragglers to come up, and we'll have to figure out how to deal with each one. The supply chain really isn't anything much to talk about. It happens from time to time when things get delayed, and it's not causing us a significant project problem. So, but I did think I should bring it up to you guys because you're our key partners in this project. Next slide. So that's phase one, which is underway now. Phase 2A is the phase that we last talked with you guys about, and you guys decided that a northwestern backbone was probably the best way to do that. Phase 2B is is kind of the central part of the county, and it is funded by BEAD, which is the large federal project, which the BEAD project, its goal is to have every premise in the entire United States have broadband by the end of that project. So that's pretty cool project. 4 years of construction timeline, but some little speed bumps on that one that we'll talk about. Good news and bad news, which I'll get to in a minute. Go ahead. Next slide, Tim. So phase 2A is funded by you guys and us, and that will begin basically as soon as we're done with easements on this project. We will begin easement acquisition for that project. So over the course of September through January, probably we'll be doing easement and procurement and permitting for that project. Then once the mainline construction and fiber backbone is complete for phase 1, we will roll those same crews into phase 2A construction and expect that to be complete by the end of October. That's that's all that we have currently funded. Phase 2B, yeah, go ahead, Tim, that was right. Phase 2B is all those little blue dots on the page there. Over the course of the last year, the definition of what is eligible has changed. It's initially it reduced by a fairly large portion due to wireless coverage knocking out some big areas. I think it went down from about 1,900 premises down to about 1,200 premises. And then somehow it actually went up in the last round of definition changes. So we're currently sitting at about 1,300, specifically 1,335 homes and businesses and 35 anchor institutions that would be served by this next phase of the project. We applied for that phase in February, and we were actually tentatively awarded that by the state. That was a $10.6 million project of state funds, and I think $6 million of Volo's funds. But then literally 4 days after we got the award notification for that, the NTIA changed the rules and pulled the money back. So it was a bit of a roller coaster there. The state of Illinois went back to the drawing board and came up with a new set of criteria, and we reapplied to that on the 18th of July, and we're waiting for their decision on that. We think we put in as attractive an application as can be done with fiber, but one of the main changes that the NTIA made was it made it much more attractive to award to specifically satellite providers, wireless as well, but primarily satellite providers. We've seen in Texas and Tennessee, the satellite companies basically applied to serve all of the premises in those states. And well, I would not be surprised if that happened with Illinois. We don't know yet whether any of those states will be able to award fiber to fiber projects at all. We hope that if they are, we will be selected again. And everything we've seen about the state indicates that they're trying. I think our Office of Broadband really understands that a temporary solution is just not a good use of funds, frankly. I mean, paying for a satellite that you could already buy is not a win. And we all know, well, most of the people in this room know that those technologies will offer some level of service and some level of aggravation over the next 10 years as they go through their technology cycle, whereas fiber will provide a very strong foundation for long-term connectivity. But the state hands are to some extent tied in that regard. So we just have to see how they are able to negotiate the new set of rules. And we're hopeful, but we can't count on anything. We have done a little bit of advocacy to try and we've reached out to the people who were in the preliminarily awarded area, and half of them we asked them to either tweet or go on Truth Social and tell their representatives that they want fiber, not wireless. I don't know if anybody has done that, but hopefully some of them will. There was about 600 people that we sent that request to, and the other 600 we asked them to write to the Office of Broadband and tell them that they want fiber, and specifically, we'd love it if they would say that they wanted VOLO service, but at least if they could make it clear that they want a long-term solution, not a stopgap. So we'll see how that goes over the next few weeks. Is when the state will be evaluating those proposals. We expect to hear something by the end of August, at least. If we're still in the running, we expect them to be talking with us back and forth about certain areas that are maybe served or overlapping from other things. So we'll definitely let you guys know privately as soon as we're able to, and then when we're able to make it known publicly. Of course, that'll be fun for all of us if we get awarded. Less fun if we don't get awarded. Next slide. So VOLO continues to be committed to, serving every premise that we can in Champaign County. We think we have a really good, everything that we have tried so far has been successful, and we really look forward to the state making a good decision on BEAD. If we are able to do that, we're in a really good position to continue growing this coverage and continue providing service. Actually, the BEAD funds would pay for another north. So phase 2A was a northwestern backbone, and the BEAD funds would pay for a northeastern backbone, and that would be cool. That would get us pretty close to most premises, not, still tens of thousands of dollars away from a lot of houses, but it's still a lot closer than we are now with fiber. So we're excited about that. So we're missing a slide. It seems it should have been before the last one about but I must have left it hidden or something, about the VChat project, which is another project that the task force supported. That project, that's installing wireless connectivity in all of the housing authority facilities in, not all of them, but a good percentage of the housing authority facilities in Champaign County. That project is underway. We took a break for the summer because of the turnover that they were seeing and the amount of coordination. Our first attempt at coordinating with tenants didn't have the effect that we wanted. So we stopped. We talked with the housing authorities, property managers about what we needed to do to make that go more smoothly, and we're going to pick it back up in September once people are mostly moved in. So that's I think our update. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the task force, Mr. Schmelzer?
Peter, as Jason is going door to door and talking about 100-year-old drainage tile, is there a method for you to feed that data back to the county GIS system? We don't know if the county will accept our data, but we are doing our best to document the whole tile maps of every drainage district. So we're I don't remember how many drainage districts there are in the county. I think over 100. We're touching 30 of them. And so we're working with all 30 of those drainage districts and getting their maps and putting them in. Separately, farmers own their own tiles, and those will all be documented in our GIS system. And we are looking forward to sharing that information with the county to the extent they find it useful. Certainly, the drainage districts will be excited. They've already said that they're excited about having GIS versions of a lot of their maps. There are some that are very advanced. I think Beaver Lake already has
and maybe one other, has already worked with the county GIS people to digitize all their stuff, and it's they brought by a wall size, well, not a whole wall, but probably 4 feet wide and 6 feet tall map of their network, so that we could be sure to be not to be careful around it. But the funny thing is, one of the lines says, "We don't know where this is, but it's here somewhere." So even when you get modern technology and you've got it all documented to an inch precision on the ground, if you don't actually know where it is, that is still part of the problem. So as that's going to be one of the interesting challenges of this construction. As we go through, we're going to be doing a lot of vacuum excavation and tile probing. Some of the drainage districts swear by divining, witching. They believe it is more accurate than other methods. So, we're happy to have them show us.
Okay. You know this, but there's a lot of stuff in Champaign-Urbana that is not documented, mostly sewers and things. So it's not just a rural problem.
You go back 100 years and there's not a lot of, though some of the maps that we've looked at are over 100 years old, and they're hand drawn, but they're pretty accurate.
Cool. Thank you. Neil.
Thank you for the information, sir. Just had a couple things. Speaking of maps, I think I mentioned it previously, but it would really be helpful if you guys overlaid the city names onto the maps you guys have. Looking at those maps, it's kind of hard to know where the fiber runs and everything are going unless you have the map and all the different cities memorized. Second, random, I know you said you had the contingency for it, which is great, but the 24% increase on tariffs, what was the reasoning they gave if they're an American-made company?
That, there's stuff that they have to buy that comes from China. It was not a very good explanation. I'll send you the letter. It was not very convincing, but they can. So I don't know how they can, honestly. I mean, I don't feel like I could do that as a small business, but I don't know. They're not a small business.
And I apologize. I think I might have asked this at a earlier meeting, but can you give me a rough ballpark of what pricing would be and what bandwidth allocation folks would get?
Sure. So our standard pricing is $85, $84.95 a month for gigabit unlimited service. That's a little higher than you may pay in town, but actually it's within the range of Comcast and other things. It's less than you would pay for a non-discounted service in town. That's for 1 gig. We will also offer 10 gig, and I think it's $139, $140, $139.95 for 10 gig service.
All right, thank you.
And just for the tech geeks, over the course of this project, we started out thinking we were being cutting edge, putting in 10 gig, and now the vendors are offering 25 gig or 50 gig, and we could buy that and install that now. We're probably not going to, because it would raise the cost of the endpoints for the users, but it's pretty amazing how quickly this stuff just is getting adopted. And over the fiber, it's just, you can layer them and have them actually both operate at the same time.
Yes, Mr. Schmelzer.
Did you email all of us this presentation?
We sent it directly to Kate.
Okay. I know the UC2B board would love to see this. They met yesterday and they were very curious about what you were going to have to say today.
Well, yeah, that's cool. I would happy to. I have. I should reach out. Is Paul still head there? I'll reach out to him. I would love to have coffee again.
All right. Thank you.
Might just make that request of staff to send the PowerPoint out to the task force when received. Thank you. Any other task force questions or comments? All right, seeing none. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
All right.